Oh, we're going back to 4x3. So there's a comic called Four Letter Word that I read all the way back in college in 2013 and 2014. And I was rereading it today on Fur Affinity and saw that it ends in becoming a visual novel. So we're just going to go along with that for today in my weekly series where I check out a different furry visual novel every day. What is this? Play a custom character from a Patreon patron discontinued. It must have been a very big Patreon supporter. Well, these are the characters from the comic. Play as either Asher or Colby. The main character is a four-letter word. That seems applicable. That seems about right. Because the thing about the first issue volume of a four-letter word is that it shows a sort of like failure to launch relationship between two roommates that has an asymmetry of understanding about why that happened. And so it starts with Asher's perspective, then goes to Colby's perspective midway through and sort of replays the perspective on everything and shows that they fundamentally don't understand each other in general. And they're both wrong about what's going on with the relationship. And the biggest criticism for the comic is just the fact that it's like whoops old backstory. Volume 1 is backstory of Colby and Asher, then volume 2 starts with a backstory of a leopard kid that knew Asher, and then like right when it was about to be like any kind of story, it then I guess it got discontinued for like 6 months, and then I didn't catch this, but it became a visual novel. So this would have to start doing a story by now, I guess. Oh god damn it. Colby. Huh? You've got some explaining to do. Oh, hey Asher. Don't hey Asher me, you know what you did. I haven't the slightest idea. Oh, come on, really? Okay, level with me here. Did you or did you not replace my shampoo with a bottle of lube? What? Colby. Okay, calm down, big guy. You keep making a fuss like that and your fur's gonna turn gray. My fur's always been gray. I'm a gray wolf. Details. Anyway, it wasn't me, but I can guess who did it. Oh, this should be good. Well, last night, Jordan. Right, Jordan. So Jordan was over last night and we were both a little drunk. Just a little drunk. We had trouble finding lube, so he had the bright idea to grab some kind of bath product instead. And you thought this was a good idea? Okay, we were really drunk. You didn't actually. Of course not. Well, we might have, but if we didn't end up finding lube after all. I guess in his compromised state, he might have tried to put your shampoo back, but grabbed the wrong bottle. And I'm supposed to buy that? Well, that was the hope. You know I'm not going to let you off the hook. You're making dinner tonight. Pasta's already boiling. You saw that coming? Well, that sure as hell is a sign that we've been living together for way too long. Yep, that's my roommate for you. We didn't always used to be this way. Oh, don't get me wrong. We're great friends now, but, well, we used to be something else. I'm not even sure what I'd call it, but in the end, I messed it all up. Oh, who am I? Sorry about that. They're being cute here. You have to say which person's... That's actually pretty funny. Having to pick which person's thinking that in the first place. Go either way. Asher Copeland, Grey Wolf, age 25, occupation sound designer. A city boy with a good heart, although he seems to have his life together, he struggles with the one thing he's missing. Colby Andrews, Red Fox, age 24. Occupation adult film star, a boy from a small town on the west coast. When he graduated from high school, he took the opportunity to move east to Claremont to get a fresh start. And going from the comic, he specifically moved here to be with Asher. because they keep trying to stick together, even though they're both not actually figuring out their emotional situation, which is a really bad idea. Just a terrible plan. Oh, who am I? Sorry about that. I'm Asher, naturally. The stuff with Colby, that was my fault. A more confident person, a normal person wouldn't have created such an awkward situation. We were more than friends. I knew that. Colby knew that. I just wasn't prepared to face the reality situation. And when it came up on me unexpectedly, I choked. Things were rough for a while, and I thought I might have lost him for good. But I'm lucky as I am stupid, and we've been able to stay friends at the very least. I should have learned something from all that, but did I mention the stupid part? I misread that, but I'm gonna go with it. I feel like maybe something's boiling under the surface, and the same thing might happen again. Only this time, Colby might really be gone. I just don't have the courage to face it. Friday, November 15th. Oriza, one of the busiest restaurants downtown. If I'd arrived just an hour earlier, I'd have found the place bustling with activity. I could almost imagine the din of the vibrant conversations and the sounds of silverware clanging together, echoing like some kind of haunting phantasm lingering over the desiccated corpse of an evening's night out. That's what the restaurant always felt like when it was this vacant. An empty shell of its former self, dying and resurrecting on a nightly basis. But I wasn't here looking for a meal. I saw a familiar face, busy working at counting money and closing out the till. Excuse me. I'm sorry, sir, but the kitchen's closed and we aren't seating anyone at the moment. I'm not looking for a seat. Oh, Asher, I'm dreadfully sorry. I didn't realize it was you. Hi, Cece. Don't worry about it. Didn't mean to startle you. I'm just here to talk to the chef. Of course, I'll go get him. I didn't have to wait long. Troy was one of my oldest and best friends, and all the years we've known each other, he'd never kept me waiting. He was always there for me, and I was always there for him. We were like brothers in every way except for blood. There it is. Yeah, the character introduced at the beginning of Volume 2. Well, well, well. Has the stray dog come to beg for table scraps again? Come on. I'm not a starving college kid anymore. I can afford to buy my own food these days. He might not have been an executive chef back then, but while I was in college, Troy was working hard in the kitchen, rising through the ranks. He was always quick to learn anything when he set his mind to it, but even I was surprised at how hard he worked and how fast the promotions came in. I can't remember if there was ever a time where it seemed obvious that this was what he wanted to do, but back during a time when I was taking summer school and night classes for extra credit to prepare for a career, Troy was already starting his. We didn't get to spend as much time together in high school because we put in a lot of hours at it. He put in a lot of hours as a dishwasher in Oriza. The chef taught him how to prepare staff meals, and the rest was history. Even though he had a lot of talent for it, I've always suspected that the staff meals were what really cemented his place in the restaurant, but not because of how good he was at it. I knew Troy had an estranged relationship with his dad who'd disappeared while we were kids, and while my family tried to make him feel welcome in ours, I don't think it was until then that he felt like he had one. He never would talk much about himself, but I can imagine it. The camaraderie of the team he worked with, a team where he could feel a sense of belonging, solidifying over sitting down with a warm meal while everyone traded stories and shared in the weals and woes of their brothers and sisters in the kitchen. That's something we were never able to give him, no matter how much we tried to include him. That sense of place. Alright, then why did you come all this way during closing hours? I'm curious what this does. Check your messages? There's like a separate phone setting? That's interesting. Go back one screen, hide the interface, save progress. Does H work? H works. I wonder if this is like an older version of Ren'Py. I'm curious about this game in some ways because like it's I think this game got started in 2016, so unlike the current popularity wave of these games, like I'm trying to think of what even existed back then for furry visual novels. Echo probably had started by then. I don't know what its reach was. Was Neko Jishi around in 2016 yet? Definitely the big like current explosion that's kind of happened where Ad Astra happening in 2020, and then like Echo kind of finishing in 2020 or 2021 or something like that. Those two games concluding and really spiking in popularity has led to what the huge current wave of furry visual novels. So there's been a almost unanimously shared source of inspiration, which is also why almost none of these games are done, is because almost all of them started in the last handful of years that are in the real explosion these days. That's just interesting to look at. Like, it's interesting to actually get a chance to see a game that existed before that context and was being done in a very different way. In this particular case, reviewing the comic again under new eyes, like 10 years later, it's very wordy. It's a lot of text per page to the point where it almost felt like it was needing to just like add new panels just for the excuse to fit more exposition and background. So it was kind of being written in this style already, and so you can see like the point where you kind of hit a format break and get frustrated with having to keep making more art for every panel, and instead just be like, okay, let's do a visual novel, because then we can actually get the words out you're trying to get out, and then have accompanying visuals that change when it's time for the story to need new visuals, instead of having to make new visuals just to make space for the text, essentially. Well, we never got a chance to talk anymore, unless I do. Unless I do. I mean, as in, like, unless like he comes here. Not unless he talks. I threw myself off with the the pronunciation. The emphasis, not pronunciation, whatever. Fair enough. I can be a hard guy to track down these days. Working 12-hour days and 6 days a week doesn't really help. Well, someone's got to do it. If I'm not around to keep all these guys in check, the kitchen would just fall apart. Take my advice. Don't make a reservation on a Sunday. I'll keep that in mind if I ever make enough money to even consider eating here. Not a mooch, at least. I told you, those days are behind me now. You wouldn't be saying that if you could smell the Chiopino we made today. I'm gonna guess that that's pronunciation. I could feel my stomach growling despite having eaten already. Not fair. Cats don't play fair. I'm beginning to reconsider why I came here to begin with. Right. Which was? Dad's been getting restless and says he wants to see me again. Mr. C, have you guys even talked much since? Not since Mom passed. It's not like there was anything you could do, Ash. I know, it's just Mom was the one who was okay with, you know, and Dad, well, I know. The less said, the better. Or rather, I just felt uncomfortable talking about a lot of things, and it was easier just to infer. But that's my problem, isn't it? I just can't bring myself to talk about difficult things. Although, if it were easy, they wouldn't be difficult things, would they? So, anyway, I was wondering if you wanted to come with. He wants me to come see him for New Year's. I asked Colby already, but he seemed kind of indecisive. Cole, huh? Yeah. I think it'd be better if I sat this one out and let you two go alone. Troll always got so weird whenever I talked about Colby. I couldn't figure him out. Even if he goes, you could still come, you know. You really are clueless, aren't you? It's not that at all. I'm doing this for your own good, trust me. My own good? I'm not sure why he acted like him and Colby were two volatile liquids that would just explode when mixed together. A few times the two of them actually had met. They got along quite well. What am I missing here? Well, Dad would still probably like to see you. He sees you even less than I do. It's not like he's going to die tomorrow. I could find another time to go and see him with you. It'd still be nice to go and see him with the good son. It might make him a little less irritable. Good son. I mean, it's kind of obvious, isn't it? He likes you a lot more than he likes me. I'm sure there are probably times where he wishes you were his son instead. Come on, Asher. You can't really think that. Well, he does treat you a lot better, even though we're both gay. He might be particularly nice to me sometimes, but there's a reason for that. Please tell me it's not something creepy. What? Gross. I swear it's nothing creepy. Phew, well that's a relief. Think it over then at least. Think I can do. Promise I cannot. Was that my phone? This is where this comes up, huh? India, don't forget. I need to know whether I need to go from India. Oh, India is the person. It's not a trip to India. Don't forget about the trip to India. I need to know whether I need a truck or not. Remember to ask Troy. I should probably check it out. I did, but not the right time to trigger this to keep going, I guess. Messages 1. How do you check out the message? Oh, reply? Question whether they're being indecisive for some reason or not. Let's find out the internal monologue for not replying, I guess. No, I think you need to reply. Compose? Oh my god, you can just like message people? What happens if I click on Dad? Whoa. Maybe you only do this when prompted though still? Because otherwise how would that work most of the time? I said that I'm on it. Oh, there was one other thing. India wanted me to make sure that you were coming camping with us next weekend before she rented a truck to take your equipment out to the lake. Yeah, as long as that truck is big enough for a ton of portable heaters. I can't believe you guys really want to go camping this late in the year. Well, you know how it is. It's the only time all of us could manage to take off work. I know. I'm one of the main reasons for the scheduling after all. I'll be there. You can count on me. I could always count on Troy. Except for just now, where he won't come with me. That's completely different. Saturday, November 16th. So that's interesting. So they're leaving stuff implied, but I think it's just because Asher doesn't know stuff, and there's a lot of, I think this game might be dealing with asymmetry of information in general, but we know from the comic, from the implication of the comic, that the reason we don't necessarily know why his dad treats his adopted son differently necessarily, but he specifically was abused by his real father, and so that's probably the context. And that Asher doesn't know. I don't know if Asher even knows that about that guy's dad. Colby had gone out for lunch today, so I decided to catch up on some sleep and nap a little while longer, and threw together a late breakfast of some granola, yogurt, and berries. He was back into the door just as I finished washing everything. Welcome back. Huh? Oh, hey. Something wasn't right. Even someone as dense as me could see that. Hey, something on your mind? Sort of. If nothing else, at least when something was bothering Colby, he was easy to read. How did lunch go? Oh, well, you know, I don't. It was great. The food was good. And... Hey, do you think I could pass for a straight guy? Well, let's see what you're wearing right now. Yeah, you'll do great, honey. What? Do you think I could pass for a straight guy? I mean, not dressed like this, of course. Colby, what are you talking about? I know, stupid question, right? Brody's been really trying to push for the gay for pay angle lately. There's a lot of money in it. I mean, it's practically the only fetish gay porn even explores, so I guess it's not like it has a lot of competition. Not that I'm complaining, though. It's not like I want to have weird clown sex or have some guy pissing all over me just to pay the bills. Colby sure was good at changing his disposition when he was deflecting. I wonder if I should bother pushing further. Confront him. Colby, you know that's not what I'm asking about. Yeah. I'm going to assume you weren't having lunch with your boss. No. So what's actually on your mind? I, went out to lunch with one of my past hookups and he asked me out. Well, I guess we're dating now. I felt my chest grow tight and cold before it felt like my hunk sunk somewhere deep in the pit of my stomach. Everything felt like it was coming into sharp focus. Oh. Oh? Was that all I could say? Well, what else could I say? I couldn't even sort out how I felt about it, much less put it into words. It'd been a long time since I felt this way. The last time I could remember was when we had our first falling out. Colby was not shy about all the other guys he slept with after that. Jealousy? Is that what this was? Maybe. I knew it was silly, but it had begun to feel like everything we'd shared together, all our history, our close bond, none of that meant anything now. Now, there was a guy who, for all I knew, barely knew Colby, and had this much more involved relationship with him. He doesn't deserve it. Yeah, I guess that about sums up how I felt. But did I have any right to feel that way? Do I deserve it any more than he does? No. I'm the coward who's too scared to make any moves. I'm not entitled to anything, much less Colby's heart. How long have you known him? A week, maybe. Do you even know much about him? A little. Are you sure this is a good idea? How am I supposed to know? It's not like anyone's ever asked me out before. And that was the heart of it. I just sat there, dumbly. There wasn't anything I could say to that. I had plenty of chances and I took none of them. Yeah, I guess this was jealousy. Was this what Colby wanted? Even back then he was doing this to punish me for screwing everything up? No, Colby's not like that. This is all me. And yet why did Colby look so deflated and conflicted? Shouldn't this be an exciting moment for him? What's wrong, Colby? Nothing. It's not nothing. Why aren't you happy about this? I am. It's just... Sorry. I'm just being a dork. I'm alright. Colby. But before I could say anything more, he disappeared into his room. You fucked up. Let's see. Is there a save button in? Yep. Save your progress. Individual slots. What if we go back to the main menu? And we could just go back around and play the perspective, can't we? Oh no! I clicked on the dragon. What kind of strange self-insert narrative might this be? I have no idea what this might be. It's discontinued anyway, apparently. I misclicked. That's a fascinating idea of having a Patreon supporter built-in narrative. Probably not the worst Might not be the worst model for making a living on via visual novels on some level. Maybe not making a living, but like being able to like turn a profit on some level is like, you probably could do a fair bit with you probably do a fair bit with just the approach of doing basically story commissions. Once you have an efficient enough model and you have a platform that you can like just add stories to, but I have no idea. Who am I? Oh, sorry about that. I'm Colby, of course. Who else? I really messed up with Asher. I just don't know how to tell him how I felt, and I came on too strong, scared him off. It's not something I like to talk about, but it's a problem I've had since high school. I guess my situation back then was kind of complicated, but then when are things ever simple? Suffice to say, I was a guy who saw a lot of use, but not much else. It's the only real kind of intimacy I've felt with another person. Until Asher. I'm just glad he still wants to be friends after all that. I'd hate to lose someone so close to me like that. But what do I want? Who knows? Well, you moved here just to stick with him, so... You want Asher. Another day at work. Yep, this is a porn studio. I guess this isn't everyone's idea of work, but hey, it pays the bills. It's also a lot of fun. Usually. Sure, what we do is called amateur porn, but when we get an actual amateur in, shoots become a huge pain. I guess the word amateur doesn't really mean much in this business. It's more of a style and a genre than a description of the people involved at this point. I once was one too. I kind of stumbled into this business while I was in a bad place. I was just about to graduate from university when I met Asher. Now I was going to have to go back to Newscrest to pursue a career that was waiting for me. I passed myself around from guy to guy just trying to feel something. One of those guys was a tiger named Brody. I guess he saw something in me because that night ended with him giving me his business card, among other things. I had a choice to make. Give up on the mess I'd made here in Claremont, or go back home, wipe the slate clean, and have to face baggage I'd left behind on the West Coast. I'm trying to remember. The person he's dating is probably... Was it Slade? Was that his name? I think it's the mountain lion. Because there's a mountain lion in the first few pages of the comic, and then the comic ends on the cliffhanger of receiving a phone call from him sometime later. That's probably who we just learned about in the other side of the story. I guess it should be obvious what happened. I think maybe that the part of me that dreaded facing everything I left behind in that small town I came from was just as strong as the part of me that didn't want to let go of Asher. Not completely. Where'd I go from here? Oh, I think I see the boss coming. I keep losing the voice a little bit and going like something flatter. Cole. Hey, Cole. We're still on the clock. You think you can give Ajax a hand? Or a mouth? I'm not picky here. Yeah, hold your horse dicks. Amateurs. Cole. I'm sorry, man. I don't think this is gonna work. Now you're gonna hurt my feelings. Am I not pretty enough? Come on, dude. You know it's not like that. But like, I just came. I don't think I can get it up again so soon. Am I gonna have to get the big, scary needle? Whoa. The boss said you guys don't use any of that Caverject shit here. We don't. But I found that with some guys, all it takes is a bit of fear to get them hard again. You're terrible. But really, if you want to make a career out of this, you're gonna have to work on your stamina. We don't have nearly enough footage to make the editors actually have to do some work for once. Man, I don't know about a career. I'm just in this for a few gigs to help pay off my student loans. What about you? Seems like you've been at it for a while. I guess I have. It's weird. I guess I never really spent a lot of time thinking about it. I spent most of my day wishing it was over. Then, before I know it, that day is gone. Days turn into weeks, weeks turn into months, months into years. And when it's all over, nothing has changed. Not like when you're a kid growing up. Every year you learn something new, go up a grade, add another notch to the door frame because you've grown just a little bit taller. Soon your voice is dropping an octave and you're buying new clothes because you've gone up 2 shoe sizes and those S-size shirts no longer fit. This is literally the exact text I just read in the comic. So this scene's being adapted directly, line for line. So I'm guessing that by the time they were writing this part of the comic and having to draw out the pages, they're getting frustrated with the format entirely. Nowadays, 3 years go by and I hardly notice. I'm still the same person I was 3 years ago. Still working the same job, still going nowhere. Something has to change. Well, I guess we should tell the boss the bad news, huh? Yep, R.I.P. Ajax's erection. I hardly knew ya. Got me some slack, man. I didn't come that fast. Slack isn't something my... What was that? I think that was my phone. They both have tutorials, essentially. Nope, Slade. I'm so smart in that I read the comic 5 minutes ago and remember the comic from 5 minutes ago. Hey, getting off work soon. We're still on for tonight? I could really use the chance to blow off some steam, if you know what I mean. Oh, that text is weirdly white. What happens if I say you're under the weather, considering what happened? I'm feeling a little under the weather. Maybe next time? Sorry about that. Hey, no skin off my back. And what a nice back it is. I'd almost forgotten about my hookup tonight. Slade, huh? We've been seeing a lot of each other lately. I hate to cancel on guys, but I just wasn't feeling it today. Not just because I spent hours getting my ass pounded on the camera either. I guess I've just had a lot on my mind lately, and it's been a bit of a drain on my libido. Yeah, I know. Normally it's not a problem. And I know what you're thinking. What a slut. He has sex for hours at work, but it's not enough for him? Work and play are two different things. At work, I'm a professional, and while I'm not necessarily mechanical or going through the motions, it just doesn't do it for me. I enjoy the work because I'm good at it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't also enjoy enjoyed on a physical level to some degree, but it's impossible to feel any kind of connection with my coworkers, even in the moment. It's jarring. All the cuts, position changes, and just the sheer juxtaposition between that fantasy we're trying to maintain while the camera's rolling and the reality when it's not. The lights, the booms, the cameras, and the handful of other guys just watching you like some kind of lab experiment laid out on a table don't really lend to a lot of romantic ambience either. We're not fucking because we're into each other, we're fucking because we're getting paid to do it. This kind of sex is different. It's real attraction. It makes me feel wanted, more so than any number on a screen telling me how many people downloaded a scene with me in it, or how many digital stars it's been rated. And even if it's not love, it's something. That's better than nothing. For the short time we're together, I can at least fool myself into feeling like, to this one guy, I'm special, something worth cherishing. I guess, maybe, I'm just tired of pretending. Home, sweet home. Asher should be by any minute now with the mail. He always prefers to be the one to pick it up. Did I actually change the timeline? I wonder what's going to happen here, because that was... I was anticipating seeing the other perspective of the scene we saw, but I might have changed what happens, so it won't happen the same way. When I clicked on that option, I kind of thought it might be something that bounces back and doesn't quite commit, but I'm curious now. It makes me think there might be something embarrassing he gets delivered that he doesn't want me to know about. Hey, Colby, that's how he was dressed? That's how he was dressed? I wasn't ready for that at all. There's sprites in the corner to have them not shirtless. Wow. It's like Edgeworth chic, but also disheveled, so it's like like high school music teacher almost. She got the popped collar and that with the scarf around it and the purple. The color scheme looks like Edgeworth from Ace Attorney. Hey Colby. Hey yourself, big guy. Your mom sent another care package. She does know I graduated years ago, right? Well, she did mention that you don't keep in touch often enough. Maybe she's afraid you'll forget about her if she's not sending one of these bad boys every month. It's true, I probably don't call home often enough. It's not that I don't love my family, far from it. Newcrest was just a small town where everyone knew everyone and everyone's business was everyone else's. It's hard to separate the town from home, and the town itself had some bad memories I wanted to keep away from. Still, I should probably write my mom sometime. Well, let's see what we've got. Some honey and... What the hell is that? Ginger root? It looks like some sort of aborted eldritch fetus. Kind of. But a whole root. Wait, is this a get well card? Oh, I get it. She used to make ginger tea for me whenever I was sick. With lots of honey. Or I'd never even touch the stuff. But I'm not even sick. Well, you were always getting sick in college. Maybe she knows you better than you think. Yeah, well... I've since learned better than to make out with a guy in front of make out with a guy with mono. I don't know, the lesson didn't seem to sink in the first time. What are all these messages? Ah! Popular. Elias, let's do lunch. I really enjoyed our time together, and I was wondering if you'd like to meet me at the Penny Royal for lunch tomorrow. Looking forward to your response. I'll be busy tomorrow, sorry. Aubrey, get off your ass. Hey champ, you better come jogging with me tomorrow. I'm not going to let you squeeze your way out this time. Can't have our little starlet getting out all soft in the middle. Think of the poor guys jacking off to you. Fuck you, Bree. I'm super sore. Don't wait up for me. Wonder what happens with these because like these are all choices, I guess. I wonder if they have like expiration dates for when they stop, when they just assume you're not reacting or something. Because they don't, because these ones didn't force me to stop the way that the other one did. It was worth it, if you say so. You know, you've changed a lot. Have I? It's not necessarily a bad thing or anything. You're just different from the guy I first met our freshman year. You're a lot more outgoing, a lot more liberal with your guys, you know? I guess maybe you just came out of your shell or something. College does that to a lot of people. Did I really come out of my shell, or did I just retreat into that same old safe one I hid in before? Yeah, because he doesn't understand that this guy was already like this before he met him. He was different around him specifically until he gave up. The reason why he has a bad history in his hometown was because he slept around too much and people started gossiping about him. It's so much easier to pretend to be a bimbo than to face the reality that maybe nobody really wants you. I wish I could say these things to you, Asher. I wish I could be honest about my feelings, but I pushed you away before and I don't want to risk pushing you out for good. I'm happy enough just being your friend. It's enough. I need something more, but I won't ask for it from you. Not for as long as I can't be sure how you feel about me. This is wild because it's like a different era of furry fiction to like flash back to. This is like, I'm trying to think, by this point, I guess Furpiled was probably like 8 years old or something like that. 5 years old, something in that territory. Been in and out all sorts of different cliffhangers and so on, but that was like all very much like, it's like a lot of like romance fiction, people sharing their feelings or not sharing their feelings and keeping them bottled up inside and dealing with stuff like that, but also like a lot of misunderstandings and drama, and surprise, X comes in. Like it's a very specific style of writing that was very prevalent back then. And then I think back to like, what was it called? Seattle Fur? Seattle Rain? There was some kind of comic that went on for a while that was called Seattle something. Just a very different era. People that made comics back then have largely drifted in style as kind of different storytelling approaches come in and out. But we've also just sort of broadened a little bit as far as genres, and so that there's a lot of variety now, where there was a surprising amount of like recurring theme there about how much it would almost always be about like ongoing stories about people that won't just communicate with each other about their feelings, which yeah, pro tip as an adult, just get your shit out there, meet a lot of people, and if you're interested in people, you should probably actually just tell them. And yeah, it's unproductive to just waste your life for a very long time and make toxic decisions as a result, because you're continually not communicating with the people that you care about, and so you're venting and making other decisions because of that. Like somewhat strangely, the like Colby is basically a sex worker because he's not in a relationship with Asher, which is not the most healthy approach to going into that kind of stuff. But in his case, he's there because he got a job offer in the town that Asher got his job in. And so he followed him and abandoned all of his existing plans, even though they'd already been to the part where they're basically on the outs, because he came on to him in the park, but too aggressively. And that put Asher off. But this is now recapping a comic. Like, not that off. It was more like Colby not immediately getting acceptance reminded him too much of being ghosted and avoided by all of the people in his hometown. And he's just a big old... He's a mess. These characters are extremely messy. Maybe you're right. I hadn't really thought about it. I'm probably not the same person I was back then either. I'm sure most people change without even realizing it. Well, I hope your taste buds haven't, because it looks like there's some of that yeastamite food spread in here for you. I mean, it can't be for me. Ugh. Yeastamite? Is that like Vegemite? No shit. Oh shit, no way. Pass it here. Is Asher Australian? Huh. I guess your mom knows me better than I thought too. But how did she know? Probably because I told her about that one April Fool's where you replaced my entire jar of blueberry jam with that garbage. I completely forgot about that. Wow, I guess I have changed too, huh? I wonder when I became such a grumpy old man. Yeah, a whole 8 months later. A whole 8 months older. Fucking ancient. Watch it. I'd tell you to get off my lawn if I owned one. But really, I need to do something nice for you. Nice for your mom one day. She's like a second mom to me. She's never even met me. I feel bad that I never really paid back the favor. Well, she doesn't want you to feel bad when she's sending me all these things and you're not getting anything. I mean, what with your mom and all. Sorry. Hey, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Besides, she probably thinks you've done plenty with you, she probably thinks you've done plenty when you helped out her baby boy his first time away from home. A few things in a care package every so often isn't exactly the same as helping me stock a really bare-bones studio apartment. Well, I couldn't just leave you like that when I saw how you were living. Eating off one plate, cooking with one pan, drinking with one cup, having to do the dishes after every meal, and having a bed as your only piece of furniture? Come on. Yeah, but you didn't have to go out of your way like that. Thanks, Asher. I don't think I ever said that enough. You've said it plenty. Just happy to have you around. Oh, speaking of which, got any plans for New Year's Eve? I don't think that far in advance. Well, I guess my dad's feeling a real empty nest, so He's been bugging me to spend it with him. Think you might want to join me? I don't know. That sounds like a family thing. I don't want to intrude. Colby, you are family. Besides, my dad and I don't get along super well. It'd be a lot less awkward with a friend there. Alright, I'll think about it. Okay, standing offer. November 16th. Saturday, huh? It's not an especially important day to me, but it's when most of the people I know have the day off. I wonder what I should do today. On second thought, my body's still fucking sore from yesterday. I think I'll sleep in a little. Hey Colby, ready for movie night? Yeah, just let me get dressed. You don't have to. I figured we'd stay in tonight. Oh? Yeah, I mean, your mom sent over all that popcorn in your care package. You might as well get some proper use out of it. I guess you're right. So what are we watching? Uh-oh. It's a horror movie. Why? Why do I ever let you choose the movies? Well, I really have no one else to blame but myself for this one. It's not like Asher's love of horror films isn't well documented. Even when we didn't have a physical machine that could play his entire wall of DVDs, he still had them displayed prominently. Pretty much all the film's projects were worked on together in college were slasher or zombie flicks. Since I starred prominently in a number of them, I can say safely that I'd consume more than my healthy allowance of Caro syrup in one lifetime by accident. For some reason, though, I thought this time would be different. Though really, I'm sure some part of why is the sick joy Asher gets out of subjecting me to this stuff. It's about as close as he gets to revenge for all the shit I pull on him. Just tell me when it's over. It's over. It's not. You know I can still hear it, even if I can't see it. Can't blame a guy for trying. Oh, I so can. It's interesting that this was done from the origins of a comic because there's a lot of unique visuals coming in throughout. Not necessarily a ton of separate expressions for the sprites in an individual scene, but the sprites keep changing clothes in each scene, and there's like a bunch of scenes throughout, and a much higher density of unique visuals than you usually have. It's like it's a different workflow than people are used to these days. Also just a little funny, be like, hey look, 4x3, the game's in 4x3. That's how you can tell it's old. I genuinely wonder if Ren'Py was only in 4x3 at one point or not. I don't even know if that's how that worked or not. I think it's an option when I was making my game, I think it was an option on the launcher. There was one tiny bit of solace for me during the hours, possibly days of jump scares that Dan Wolf has put me through. Asher always found it hilarious when I would huddle in against him whenever I was particularly scared, which was always. Weirdly enough, it was usually in these moments of sheer panic and much squealing that I felt closest to him, at least physically. Too bad my nerves are always way too shot to enjoy it. Asher. Asher! What's up, Colby? I can't sleep. You can't sleep because of the movie? Yes, I mean because of the movie. Well, it's a good thing it's the weekend and you can stay up as long as you like then. Asher! Asher! Alright, what do you want? Just stay with me, please? What, you mean all night? If you have to. Until I fall asleep, at least. This is your fault. Take some responsibility. Okay, I suppose there's some truth to that. Well, how shall we get you to sleep then? I don't know, just tell me about your day, maybe? That'll put me right out. You know, that day consisted of scaring the shit out of you. You remember that one part in the movie where... Okay, I get it. Well, I don't know, then just keep talking to me. Okay, how about this? Once upon a time, there was a little fox prince. A little fox prince, really? Okay, once upon a time, there was a really ugly fox prince. Alright, message received, I won't interrupt. So, one day, the good, obedient, well-mannered, not quite so ugly anymore, little fox prince went to bed that night, but was awoken by terrible nightmares. He yelped out into the night for his daddy, the king. "Daddy, Daddy," he cried. "The monster's gonna get me! The monster's gonna get me!" Now, the king knew there was no such thing as monsters. He was a well-educated adult, and also didn't live in an area where DVDs of zombie apocalypses existed. I had to roll my eyes at that point. How much farther was he going to go with this? It was only at this point that I had looked over and realized that Asher had knelt by my bed and was acting everything out, with miscellaneous junk he swept off the desk. Dental floss, pens, a kneadable eraser. So, the king, hearing this, came to his son's side and told him, "Son, there's no such thing as monsters. You must stop your shouting at once. No one in the castle can sleep with such a racket." The fat, formless blob of the king, the eraser, jumped 5 paces over the bed sheets to the poor, beleaguered fox prince's pen and back again. So, being a good prince and dutiful son, the fox prince tried to go back to sleep. But once more, he startled awake as a steely black claw closed around his neck and plucked him from the safety of his bed in his dream. I was wondering if he actually had the stuff on him or not. Asher acted it out with his own paw and the pencil, providing his own sound effects. Now the fox prince was a good boy, who didn't want to trouble his father anymore. But what did he do? But what was he to do? I'm really not falling apart, apparently. He was just a little boy and stood no chance against the monsters. But the prince was in luck, for not more than a few doors down, the king's best knight came to the prince's aid. So went the noble plastic container of floss. It sure protected my gums, at least. "Fear not, little prince," said the brave knight. "Unlike your father, I know too well of the beasts that plague your dreams. I see them too." The knight, of course, much like the prince's father, knew there were no monsters, save for the ones in the prince's own head, but it was those very monsters he sought to slay. But those fiends cannot stand against the blade of Sir Asher, captain of the Royal Knights, so take heart, young prince. The next time you see another monster, tell him you are under the protection of Sir Asher, and if he does not flee, you cannot guarantee his safety. Thankful and relieved, the little fox prince closed his eyes and drifted off to sleep again, with the confidence that he was safe and well guarded. The monsters needn't dare attack him again. The end. So, what'd you think? Think I have a shot at a Pulitzer? Colby? How did I fall asleep? It's my perspective. Wait. Good night, little prince. Now it's the 17th. So many different days. It is funny that we fell asleep in the middle of the story when it's technically our perspective. But now chaos mode. I'm a chaotic boy. New game. That guy. Next choice. Check your messages. Slade. Reply. For sure, see you then. Let's get on that date with Slade. How do I leave? There we go. Forgot about my hookup tonight. Slade, huh? We've been seeing a lot of each other lately. I know what you're thinking. What a slut. Okay, blah, 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 blah. The skip to next choice thing doesn't work if you're currently in the mode where it works. It only works for skipping unseen text, but it's labeled as skip to next choice. You probably have to go in the settings to change that. I thought I'd have some time before my little tryst, but I was greeted by an unexpected sight when I returned home from work. You're late. I wasn't, of course. I hadn't been expecting Slade to show up for at least another half hour. He must have entered the building when someone else had buzzed in. The lobby can get pretty damn drafty this late in the year. You're early. Couldn't wait to get a piece of this tale. I've never been a patient guy. Alright, come on in. Give me a few minutes to freshen up. I don't think I reeked or anything, but you don't spend a whole day fucking under hot lights without ending up a little musky. I guess it might seem weird to be self-conscious about what smelling like sex to someone you're about to have sex with anyway. I think I've said some of that wrong. I suppose I just felt like I needed to project some kind of perfect image, like following some ancient instinct designed to attract a mate. I mean, why bother making your bed every day when you're just going to mess it up again by sleeping in it, right? But as it turned out, Slade was a more down-to-earth guy than that. Getting comfy, getting close. So this diverges heavily, immediately. Oh, this is terrifying. How do you write this game? How do you deal with all the different branches already? That's a lot of branches already. Like, I imagine you choosing to go jogging or not, and if that comes up, that must mean you get a different scene in the day we just saw. Like, you must have to go jogging with them, which means you probably can't have a movie marathon all day. I'm wondering how horizontal, like how wide this game is versus how deep it might be, as far as, by which I mean like how widely it's branched versus how far any of the branches go. As I reached for the door handle, I felt the cougar's considerable weight against my back. My hackles risen as the air shifted around my nape as he breathed in my scent. Don't. You smell good. My voice caught in my throat, and I found myself unable to speak as his hands grasped my body and clutched my back against his firm, solid chest. I'm not waiting any longer. I need to feel you under me like a good little fox. I don't think the thought that I could ever deny him even entered my mind. He knew he had me right where he wanted, and he was right. He exuded so much confidence and surety. It excited the part of me that wanted so desperately to feel desired. I unlocked the door and pressed down on the handle with the palm of my hand as I turned to face him. Without a moment's hesitation, his shorter snout was pressed against mine in a fierce kiss. His ravenous lips devoured mine as he pressed up against my body. Slade's forward momentum pushed the door open, and we stumbled inside. His lips only left mine long enough to pull our shirts off over our heads. Pants were tugged down around our knees, sliding down with the help of gravity and the motions of our legs striding towards my bedroom. Slade didn't bother with any foreplay. Didn't need it. He could smell it on me, how used I was. It was driving him mad with the need to add his own load to the mess. He knew what he wanted, and he went for it. As long as what he wanted was me, I was content. Yeah. This is where you belong. Slade growled lowly into my ear. I could feel his hot breath flow down my back. On the end of my dick. I winced as he pressed the bell end of his bell end. I've heard the phrase bell end from English people, but having it phrased as two separate words, I'm still not entirely ready for. The bell end, the shape that's bell-shaped. Alright, well this is quickly getting to the part where I probably can't continue reading, but we're also an hour in, so that's going to be fine. So this has been Four-Letter Word. It's been an interesting little blast from the past to go way back here and see a very different era of what is now an evolving subgenre, and like it's all over the place. In particular, just because, like I said before, so much of it is inspired by the same couple of games that it's interesting to see a game that's older than the hype wave, and therefore is outside of that context. And it's kind of like, it's almost like a piece of a different timeline and so on. Game's been on a hiatus for a while. Who knows if it'll ever come back in any other context, but that's the gist of it. But you can check out the game to see what its current contents are and its branches and so on. Via the link in the description to itch.io. At the moment, I think the word count is approximately like 1/3 that of Ad Astra, so it's like there's a decent amount in there already, but don't know if it'll ever be updated again. And you can also check out the link in the description, the other one, to check out the playlist for all of these videos that I've been doing once a week for a while now, to find out about a whole lot of other games, because holy shit, furries are very, very busy. But thanks for watching like always, guys, and I'll see you next time.